process. I thank them as well. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Representative Burchett. I now recognize Representative Keating for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a congressional hearing of the United States of America. I'd like to focus on our position, what we're doing, what we can do to help. And when I say what we can do to help, I mean to bring peace in the region. So I'd like to ask Mr. Altman, could you comment on, which is like a half century of U.S. policy where a two-state solution during that period has been first and foremost. And can you tell us your opinion if there can ever be anything that would interrupt this cycle of violence and killings that occur that wouldn't involve regional partnership in that solution?
I do. Let me make 2 points. One is that one of the things I've heard a lot from people in government is sometimes if you have an insoluble problem, the way to solve it is to enlarge the problem. And I think the instinct of creating more regional support is a good instinct, which has started under previous administrations, which the Trump administration has quite admirably furthered and embraced, and I think that's part of the solution. The other thing is we've actually been pushing a two-state solution since the 50s. The Anderson mission in 1955, 56, we go way back on this issue. And I think that we have to think less about how do we draw the border, and we have to think more about how do we create a two-state solution that changes the meanings of some phrases, and the phrases you have to change are two and state and solution. I think traditionally thinking of states in normal ways with impenetrable boundaries, I don't think that's going to work.
Okay, so along those lines, prior to the horrific, disgusting attacks on October 7th, was there great progress in moving along those lines you were talking about, where other countries in the region were buying into normalization for Israel, and wasn't there really an area of great progress in your opinion?
There was a lot of progress, and one of the things that Hamas was trying to do was to undermine that normalization. I think that the Saudis, frankly, are ready to move in that direction. I think we're looking at a very different relationship with Syria, a very different relationship with Lebanon. The prospects are there. There's a problem with Palestinian leadership, no question. I think there's also a problem with Israeli leadership.
Just on a geographic basis, I mean, the capital of Jordan is 25 miles away from the West Bank borders. And when you have this kind of internal insecurity that's occurring here and the violence that's really, frankly, not being addressed and stabilized, how does that affect Jordan?
Jordan's very concerned. About 60% of the Jordanian population is of Palestinian origin, and they're very concerned that either instability and influx of more Palestinians into Jordan would disrupt that balance. That would create not only problems for us, we have a lot invested in Jordanian security, but also for Israel, which has built a security relationship with Jordan since the creation.
The center of much of this effort for regional participation and really looking for a way to break that cycle has been Saudi Arabia. And that's been a focus of the current administration, prior administrations in trying to deal with this. But they support a two-state solution as a requirement. And can we move to that normalization without addressing this? And the other issue is, you know, we put a lot of time and, you know, working to support the Abraham Accords. This violence, without it can unravel these regional partners. What's the effect on the Abraham Accord if this continues the way it is now?
Well, I think the Abraham Accords may splinter. One of the goals of the Saudi visit when the Crown Prince was here was to divorce the U.S.-Saudi bilateral relationship from normalization with Israel. Their feeling is they were successful in doing that, partly because of the sense of where annexation and other things are and how alarmed the Trump administration is at their prospect.
So the history lesson might be enlightening to some, but I'm really keen, and as a member of the U.S. Congress, trying to deal with peace and bring peace to the region, how important this is. And I just wanted to take my time to underscore this is what we should be talking about. Not looking backwards, but looking at the present and looking at the future in very pragmatic terms. I yield back.
I now recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Issa, for 5 minutes.
Thank you. And I'm going to pick up where my colleague left off. You said two things. First of all, you paraphrased Eisenhower, who was the father of make the problem bigger to solve a big problem. His